This is Channel 4, KNBC, Los Angeles.
This is the KNBC News Service with Tom Brokaw.
This is the KNBC News Service with Paul Moyer and Ross Porter and Kelly Lang. Now, Paul Moyer.
Good evening, everybody. As we've been saying all week on this program, Tom Brokaw is on special assignment tonight. He'll be back Monday night at 11 o'clock.
This is the KNBC News Service with Tom Brokaw and Ross Porter and Kelly Lang. Now, Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. A lot of things aren't showing up tonight, including our theme music. Marlon Brando decided that he would rather go to Wounded Knee, South Dakota than to the Academy Awards. At least that's the word from the young Indian woman who appeared for Brando tonight, as it was announced that he had received the Oscar for Best Actor. The woman is Sacheen Littlefeather, an Apache. Speaking for Brando, she said the actor would refuse the Oscar because of the treatment of the American Indian in motion pictures, in television reruns, and because of the recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
This is the KNBC News Service sign-off edition for Tuesday, the 22nd of May. The time in 20 seconds, 1:21 in the morning. The Watergate hearings resume today at 7 a.m. KNBC will carry it live. Convicted conspirator James McCord will be questioned about his testimony last Friday. Sources say Senate investigators have found discrepancies in the testimony. John Caulfield, whom McCord said delivered an offer for executive clemency in exchange for his silence, is scheduled to follow McCord. Richard Helms, former CIA director, says H.R. Haldeman and John Ehrlichman ordered the CIA to help block the Watergate investigation. CIA records show that the two men used the president's name to ask the CIA to discourage the FBI from investigating presidential campaign funds channeled through Mexico. This is the KNBC News Service sign-off edition. It's the 7th of February. The time, 1 minute and 17 seconds after 1 o'clock in the morning. The largest demonstration in the history of Northern Ireland took place Sunday without any of the anticipated violence. About 20,000 took part in the 30-minute march in the border town of Newry. Here is a report. This is the KNBC News Service with Paul Moyer. Ross Porter with the Bold Days Eve report. And Kelly Lang answers the meteorological question, will it rain in our parade? Here again, Paul Moyer.
Pasadena's Day in the national spotlight is almost here. New Year's Day means, well, you know what it means, Tournament of Roses, the Rose Bowl game, and the parade and the like. And the prospect of seeing that parade has turned Pasadena into a virtual campground tonight.
This is the KNBC News Service with Paul Moyer. Ross Porter along later with film highlights from tonight's action at Dodger Stadium. And Kelly Lang with the weather for Southern California. Now here again, Paul Moyer.
Edmund Brown Jr. and Houston Flournoy, both candidates for governor here in California, were highly visible today, and so was another well-known California politician. Jerry Brown won support from not totally unexpected quarters, although
Pricing ability on The Price is Right tonight at 7:30. Good morning. This is the KNBC News Service sign-off edition for Thursday, May the 15th. In the news this morning, the Cambodian government surrenders the U.S. merchant ship it had captured, together with all its crew. A massive jailbreak in Chicago, and Ray Duncan introduces the 30-passenger Volkswagen. Now the details. After a tense and uncertain day of troop landings and other military operations, Cambodia surrendered the 39 American crewmen of the freighter Mayaquez after U.S. Marines captured the ship itself. President Ford went on the air a few hours ago with this statement.
This is the KNBC News Service with Don Harris.
with a report on the Soviet-American summit and the new arms agreement. And Boyd Matson with films of today's come-from-behind Rams win. Once again, Don Harris.
President Ford came home from the Soviet summit meeting tonight, and he announced that our two countries have reached a tentative agreement on limiting strategic arms. There was a big crowd gathered at Andrews Air Force Base, that's just outside Washington, and they listened as the president described the accord. He said it would limit the military competition, at least for the next 10 years.
This is the KNBC News Service with John Schubeck. Ross Porter with action highlights from tonight's Trojans and Lakers games. And Kelly Lang with news of severe weather in the nation's midsection. Here again, John Schubeck.
As reported here last night, President Ford will ask the Congress to cut taxes by $15 billion this year.
This is Channel 4, KNBC, Los Angeles.
At 9 minutes before 7 o'clock tonight, the scoreboard in Houston's Astrodome flashed a score. Cincinnati had lost. The Dodgers had finally won the title in the National League West. The Dodgers game with the Astros was far from over, but it was stopped while the Dodgers players and staff took turns slapping each other on the back. Why not? The season is 162 games long. The congratulations had to wait until the middle of game 161. Good evening once again, everybody. That was long-awaited news for the Dodger faithful. It finally came tonight. And lest we steal Ross Porter's thunder, here with the happy details is Mr. Porter. Ross?
Paul, although they had taken the division lead for good on April the 14th, it had been a long, tense summer for the Dodgers. Their largest margin was 11 games on the afternoon of July the 10th, and that advantage was chopped to 1.5 games on September the 14th.
KNBC, Los Angeles. Weekend news service for Saturday, April 6th, with Marianne Mascari, Pat Downey, and Don Harris.
Good evening. An impromptu summit conference of sorts is underway in Paris. President Nixon is right in the middle of it. Earlier today, Mr. Nixon talked with British Prime Minister Wilson and West German Chancellor Brandt. Tomorrow, he meets with Soviet President Podgorny and Japanese Premier Tanaka.
Good evening and welcome to News Service 75. In this coming 90 minutes, we're going to take a look at some of the important events of 1974 with the hope of projecting some of the events we can reasonably expect in 1975. Could it be worse? We're tempted to answer yes, but that's much too simple. Indeed, it might not be correct. Consider some of the year we have just endured. The Middle East conflict produced an Arab oil embargo, which resulted in long lines and high prices at service stations.
This is NewsCenter 4, prepared each day by Southern California's largest television news staff, and reported by Tricia Toyota, with Kelly Lang, Bob Abernathy, David Horowitz, and Stu Nahan. Now for the vacationing Jess Marlowe, here is Tricia Toyota.
Good evening, everyone. The top news story this evening is a diagnosis of terminal cancer for Senator Hubert Humphrey. Doctors made the discovery today during surgery to remove an obstruction in his bowel. They found a malignant tumor on Humphrey's pelvic bone. NBC's Al Johnson has more.
This is News Center 4, the 11 p.m. edition with John Schubeck, Stu Nahan Sports, Pat Sajak Weather, and Robin Groth with the Nightside Report. Now here is John Schubeck.
Thank you very much, Victor Bozeman. Good evening, everybody.
This is News Center 4, the 11 p.m. edition with John Schubeck, Stu Nahan Sports, Pat Sajak Weather, and Robin Groth with a Nightside Report. Now here is John Schubeck.
Thank you very much, Don Stanley. Good evening, everybody. The death toll continues to climb tonight from a spectacular head-on collision of two passenger buses in Mexico last night. There are now as many as 42 dead, another 40 injured. That crash happened on Highway 2, about 25 miles east of the border town of San Luis. Two Mexican passenger buses smashed into one another when they tried, one of them at least did, to avoid hitting a stalled truck.
Center 4, the 11 p.m. edition, with Tricia Toyota and Warren Alney, Stu Nahan Sports, and Pat Sajak Weather. Now, here is Warren Alney.
Good evening. John Schubeck is ill tonight. A big story at this hour, the arrival of Pope John Paul II in the Philippines. 1.5 million people welcomed him at Manila Airport. This, of course, after the apparent assassination attempt earlier today in Karachi, Pakistan. A bomb exploded in an outdoor stadium shortly before the Pope got there. The only person killed, the man carrying the bomb.
This is Newscenter 4, the 11 p.m. edition, with John Schubeck and Tricia Toyota, Stu Nahan Sports, Warren Alney's special series on L.A. youth gangs. Dick Shoemaker and Paul Dandridge report live on the hijacking and hostage drama that ended at the L.A. airport tonight. And now, here is Tricia Toyota.
Good evening, everyone. And that hijacking attempt did end at LAX nearly 12 hours after it began.
Good morning. This is the Newscenter 4 sign-up edition for Saturday, July the 4th, Independence Day. In the headlines this morning, the only survivor of the Laurel Canyon massacre remains under police guard. Nancy Reagan celebrates a birthday. Chris Everett Lloyd celebrates a big victory. And L.A. County lifeguards are gearing for a busy holiday weekend. And now the details. Los Angeles police continue to stand guard at the hospital room of the sole survivor of last Wednesday's shootout at the upper 90s. The overnight low is around 70. Heavy surf at the beaches, mostly poor air quality except for mountain, desert, and the beach areas. Well, this has been the Newscenter 4 sign-up edition for Saturday, July the 4th. We'll be back with local news at 5:30 this afternoon, followed by world and national news at 6 o'clock. Stay tuned to Channel 4 throughout the day for all the breaking news. Family Feuds turn into Family Fortunes tomorrow at 7:30. The laughs never stop as Norm Crosby's Comedy Shop tomorrow at 7.
Tricia Toyota, Jim Thomas, Stu Nahan Sports, Kevin O'Connell Weather, Observer Ron Hendren. This is News for LA at 5.
I want you to come east on Ventura Boulevard and then turn north on Balboa, up to the Ventura Freeway. East, start heading east.
Tricia Toyota, John Deere, Stu Nahan Sports, Kevin O'Connell Weather, and Nightside reporters Kirsty Wilde and Pete Pepper. This is News for LA, Nightside.
Good evening, everybody. The first major snowstorm of the season is now blamed for 18 deaths. I want you to come east on Ventura Boulevard and then turn north on Balboa, up to the Ventura Freeway. East, start heading east.
John Beard, Tricia Toyota, Stu Nahan Sports, Kevin O'Connell Weather, and Nightside reporters Phil Schumann and Carla Aragon. This is News for LA, Nightside.
Hollywood's big night tonight, the annual Academy Awards, the 56th one this year. Entertainment editor Dino Lawley just back from the LA Music Center downtown. A rundown on all of tonight's big winners. Dino.
Kirsty Wilde, John Deere, News for LA at 4. Number 1 in Southern California. Fred Rogan Sports, Fritz Coleman Weather, David Horowitz Close-Up. This is News for LA at 4. Kirsty Wilde, John Beard, Fred Rogan Sports, Fritz Coleman Weather. News 4 LA, number 1 at 4.
Now, Tricia Toyota, Nick Clooney, Stu Nahan, sports, Kevin O'Connell, weather, Jack Perkins, cover story. This is News 4 LA, Nightside.
Good evening, everybody.
KNBC Los Angeles. Good morning, everyone. In the news this morning, the scare over cyanide-laced Tylenol continues to keep authorities busy around the Chicago area and around the country. There have now been 7 deaths linked to the poisoned pills. A group of Amerasian children are due in Los Angeles later today to be reunited with their American fathers. And in sports, the Angels celebrated with champagne. They're in the American League playoffs, but the Dodgers will have to wait until later today to find out where they stand. These numbers appear on the box and the bottle of the capsules: 1801 MA, MC 2880, and 1910 MD. No cyanide has been found in any bottles of the capsules taken from stores in Southern California. We now rejoin a broadcast of the 11 p.m. edition of News 4 LA.
Now, John Beard, Kirsty Wilde, Kevin O'Connell, weather, Fred Rogan, sports. News 4 LA, number 1 at 4.
Good afternoon, everybody. A strong earthquake jolted a wide area of Central California and Nevada this morning. It caused rock slides and kicked some items off shelves as it rolled from the mountains to the coast.
Nick Clooney, Tricia Toyota, News 4 LA. Kevin O'Connell, weather. Stu Nahan, sports. Nightside reporters Carla Aragon and Bill Schumann. This is News 4 LA, Nightside.
Good evening, everyone. 5 people were killed tonight when a Learjet taking off from San Francisco International Airport crashed and burst.
This is News 4 LA with Nick Clooney, Kelly Lang, Kevin O'Connell, weather, Stu Nahan, sports, Jack Perkins, cover story, and David Sheehan, entertainment. Now, News 4 LA, Nightside.
Good evening, everyone. Right now, the vast majority of the votes from today's primary election are still being counted, but one major race is apparently over.
News 4 LA, the late Sunday edition with Frank Cruz and Carol Hutchison. Fritz Coleman with the weather, and Fred Rogan with a special expanded Sunday edition of Sports 4 LA. Now, News 4 LA at 11.
Good evening, everyone. Time magazine is reporting tonight that ground-to-air missiles...
Time now for News 4 LA, the late Sunday edition with Cynthia Allison and Frank Cruz, Fritz Coleman with the weather, Ron Hendren with the commentary, and Fred Rogan with a special Sunday expanded edition of Sports 4 LA. Now, News 4 LA at 11.
Good evening. We start tonight with a story about royalty, British and Hollywood. The British royalty, of course, Queen Elizabeth II. The Hollywood blue bloods, the elite of show business.
Kirsty Wilde, John Beard, Fred Rogan, sports, Fritz Coleman, weather, and Carol Hutchison, health. Channel 4 News, number 1 at 4.
Good afternoon, everybody. There will...
Kelly Lang, Nick Clooney, Stu Nahan, sports, Fritz Coleman, weather, David Sheehan, entertainment, and David Horowitz, close-up. Channel 4 News at 5.
Good evening. There is no joy in Mudville tonight.
Linda Alvarez, Bill Lagatuda, Christopher Nance, weather, and Andy Lascano, sports. Channel 4 News, weekend.
Good evening, everyone. Homicide detectives are working to determine...
Kirsty Wilde, John Beard, Fred Rogan, sports, Fritz Coleman, weather, and Doug Kriegel, Money Matters. Channel 4 News at 6.
Good evening, everybody. Rescue crews are struggling.
Clooney, Kelly Lang, Fritz Coleman, weather, Stu Nahan, sports, Jack Perkins, cover story, and David Sheehan, entertainment. Channel 4 News, number 1 at 11.
Good evening. Topping our news this hour, rescue workers.
Nick Clooney, Kelly Lang, Fritz Coleman, weather, Stu Nahan, sports, Jack Perkins, cover story, and David Sheehan, entertainment. Channel 4 News, number 1 at 11. Kelly Lang, Nick Clooney, Stu Nahan, sports, Fritz Coleman, weather, David Sheehan, entertainment, and David Horowitz, close-up. Channel 4 News at 5.
Good evening. Leading off our news this hour, Terry Bartholomew, a former...
John Beard, Kirsty Wilde, Fritz Coleman, weather, Fred Rogan, sports, and Doug Kriegel, Money Matters. Channel 4 News at 6.
Good evening, everybody. Former school teacher Terry Bartholomew was ordered to stand trial today.
Ken Shocknick, Carla Aragon, Christopher Nance, weather, Fred Rogan, sports. This is Today in LA.
Good morning at 6:30 Thursday, October 13th. Today in LA, 63 degrees under a deck of low clouds right now. And good morning, Carla.
Good morning, Kent. And topping our news, on the heels of 2 losing seasons, the Dodgers were counted out even before the season began.
Linda Alvarez, John Beard, Fritz Coleman, weather, Fred Rogan, sports, David Horowitz, fight back, and Steve Gendell, health. Channel 4 News at 4, number 1 in Southern California.
Good afternoon, everybody. The Dodgers are 1 game away from the World Series, and in just about an hour, they'll be taking on the Mets in Game 6 of the National League playoffs out at...
John Beard, Linda Alvarez, Fritz Coleman, weather, Fred Rogan, sports, and David Horowitz, fight back. Channel 4 News at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our top story today.
World's 7th biggest privately owned bank.
Colleen Williams, Jess Marlowe, Fritz Coleman, weather, Fred Rogan, sports, and David Sheehan, entertainment. Channel 4 News, number 1 in Southern California.
Good evening. In just a few minutes now, the Dodgers and the Mets will square off in Game 6 of the National League Championship Series.
Jess Marlowe, Colleen Williams, Fritz Coleman, weather, Fred Rogan, sports, and David Sheehan, entertainment. Channel 4 News, number 1 in Southern California.
Good evening. The Christopher Commission.
Kelly Lang, Keith Morrison, Fritz Coleman, weather, Fred Rogan, sports, and Doug Kriegel, Money Matters. Channel 4 News at 6, number 1 in Southern California.
Good evening. Top story at 6 o'clock. A fire broke out just about an hour ago in downtown LA's historic Central Library.
Kelly Lang, Keith Morrison, Fritz Coleman, weather, Fred Rogan, sports, and Doug Kriegel, Money Matters. Channel 4 News at 6.
Good evening. Top story on the news at 6 o'clock.
Keith Morrison, Kelly Lang, Fritz Coleman Weather, Fred Rogan Sports, Jess Marlowe Cover Story, and David Sheehan Entertainment. Channel 4 News, Nightside.
Good evening. President Reagan was hit with some tough questions tonight during...
Keith Morrison, Kelly Lang, Fritz Coleman Weather, Fred Rogan Sports, Jess Marlowe Cover Story, and David Sheehan Entertainment. Channel 4 News, Nightside, #1 at 11.
Good evening. Top story at the 11th hour. The emotional aftershock of the earthquake still causing...
The following is a repeat broadcast of the 11 p.m. edition of Channel 4 News.
John Beard, Fritz Coleman Weather, Fred Rogan Sports, Jess Marlowe Cover Story, and David Sheehan Entertainment. Channel 4 News, Nightside, #1 in Southern California.
Good evening. If you're just joining us now, we went on a half hour early tonight because of schedule changes due to the presidential debate, and that, of course, is our top story.
John Beard, Kelly Lang, Fritz Coleman Weather, Fred Rogan Sports, Jess Marlowe Cover Story, Channel 4 News, Nightside, #1 at 11.
Good evening, everybody. Topping our news, the heat. It is a hot, hot summer night after a scorcher of a day.
John Beard, Kelly Lang, Fritz Coleman Weather, Fred Rogan Sports, and Jess Marlowe Cover Story. Channel 4 News, Nightside, #1 at 11. Colleen Williams. The following is a repeat broadcast of the 11 p.m. edition of Channel 4 News. And Brett Lewis, Sports. Channel 4 News, Nightside, #1 in Southern California.
Hello, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams. Jim Giggins is back this evening filling in for Rick Chambers.
Rick Chambers, Wendy Takuda, Christopher Nance, Weather, and Fred Rogan, Sunday Night Sports. Channel 4 News, Nightside, #1 in Southern California.
Good evening. The tense calm over L.A. was broken tonight as National Guardsmen opened fire while patrolling L.A.
Your new day starting. Good morning to you. It's 5:30 a.m. and you're looking at a live picture across the San Gabriel Mountains with the official Today in L.A. palm or pine tree on the left side. It's Wednesday, May 19th.
Nice sunrise. Welcome to Today in LA, First Edition. Here's what's happening on this Wednesday morning.
All the morning's news, weather, sports, and traffic start right now.
This is Today in L.A., First Edition, with Carla Aragon and Ken Schockner.
Lots of news going on in the next 90 minutes. We'll get to in just a second.
Live in Southern California, this is Channel 4 News at 4.
It's President Clinton and a...
Live in Southern California, this is Channel 4 News at 5.
This man says he is too sick to work. He is too ill to walk, but...
Live in Southern California, this is Channel 4 News at 6.
They look like regular bees. They even sound like regular bees, but they are not. They are killer bees, and they just hit the border. Good evening. I'm Wendy Takuda.
And I'm Jess Marlowe.
Live in Southern California, this is Channel 4 News at 11.
Under a hurricane warning, we're asking that you voluntarily evacuate the island.
People on the East Coast fleeing the wrath of Hurricane Emily, expected to hit and hit very soon. Good evening, everybody. It's 11 o'clock, and I'm Paul Moyer.
And I'm Colleen Williams, in for Kelly Lang.
Right now.
This is Today in L.A., First Edition.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you had a good weekend and a great Mother's Day.
Let's get things started as we get back to work on this Monday morning with an update on your weather from Christopher.
This is Today in L.A.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Today in LA. It is Tuesday. It's May the 10th. I'm Kathy Vara.
And I'm Ken Shocknick. We're going to start off
Live in Southern California, this is Channel 4 News at 4.
You're looking at a live picture. This is what remains of a suspicious briefcase at a mobile gas station out in North Hollywood. Not taking any chances this afternoon, the LAPD bomb squad moved in and took care of it. Nobody knows who put it there, or for that matter, why. Good afternoon. I'm Chuck Henry.
And I'm Kelly Lang, in our top story on the news at 4 o'clock. That bomb scare.
Live in Southern California, this is Channel 4 News at 5:30.
You are now looking at a live picture of the men's central jail in Los Angeles. O.J. Simpson is facing his 4th night there in isolation.
Live in Southern California, this is Channel 4 News at 11.
LAPD headquarters in Venice, emotions already running very high.
Live in Southern California, this is Channel 4 News Weekend.
Storm clouds have been hovering off the coast for days now. Well,
right in the middle of Los Angeles. The Channel 4 News at 5 begins right now.
You are watching Channel 4 News, coverage you can count on. Now, live in Southern California, this is Channel 4 News at 5.
Can you describe his demeanor when he spoke the words?
Now into a nightmare. We'll show you why. The Channel 4 News at 6 begins right now.
You are watching Channel 4 News, coverage you can count on. Now, live in Southern California, this is Channel 4 News at 6. Now, live from the Channel 4 studios, you're watching the #1 newscast in Southern California, the Channel 4 News at 11.
Ms. McKinney, did Mr. Furman...
Good morning. It's 5:30 a.m. Welcome to Today in L.A. I'm Ken Shocknick.
And I'm Kathy Vara. Here's what's happening on this Wednesday, September the 6th.
A family dispute turns deadly. A woman shot to death by her husband in a Los Angeles courthouse. Now a new plan for better protection inside the courts. We'll have a live report.
And the O.J. Simpson defense is on the offense as a jury hears for the first time about Mark Furman and the N-word.
Here's how it looks outside right at this moment. We're live in downtown Los Angeles. A beautiful morning. All the morning's news, weather, sports, and traffic start right now.
Now, Southern California's #1 early morning newscast. Ken Shocknick, Kathy Vara, Christopher Nance, Paul Johnson. This is Today in L.A.
And good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Really is a pretty morning, very clear.
Gorgeous morning outside, and we start our new look here on Channel 4 this morning.
That's kinda neat,
so you'll see some changes going.
Now, Chuck Henry, Kelly Lang, Fritz Coleman weather, Fred Rogan sports. Live in Southern California, the Channel 4 News at 4.
Good afternoon. This is a live picture from the O.J. Simpson courtroom. You are looking at Detective Mark Furman as he now confers with his attorney. He is about to take the witness stand in the O.J. Simpson trial for a second time.
News at 6 begins right now.
Thanks, David. Hello, everyone. I'm Cater Lee in for Kelly Mack.
And I'm Chuck Henry. Our top story at 6 o'clock. Terrible weather all up and down the West Coast has created
California's #1 station for news, the Channel 4 News.
Millions watch a Thanksgiving tradition, but gusty winds make for a mess at the Macy's parade. While here in the Southland, millions of families are getting together to celebrate the most American of holidays, the day when everyone has something to be thankful for. Good evening and happy Thanksgiving to you. I'm Kelly Mack.
And I'm Fernell Chapman. Now, Paul Moyer, Kelly Lang, Fritz Coleman weather, Fred Rogan sports, Southern California's #1 newscast, the Channel 4 News at 11.
Another horrible soccer tragedy. It's breaking news from Guatemala City tonight, where a deadly stampede broke out earlier tonight.
Live from NBC4, the station working for you. Ken Shocknick, Kathy Vara, Christopher Nance AccuWeather, and Paul Johnson Metro Traffic. This is Today in L.A., Southern California's #1 morning news. Live from NBC4, the station working for you. Ken Shocknick, Kathy Vara,
Christopher Nance AccuWeather. Southern California's #1 news, the Channel 4 News at 11 a.m. Live from NBC4, the station working for you, Kent Shocknick, Kathy Vara, and Paul Johnson AccuWeather. Southern California's #1 news, the Channel 4 News at 11 a.m. Live from NBC4, the station working for you, Kelly Lang, Chuck Henry, Fritz Coleman AccuWeather, Fred Rogan Sports. Southern California's #1 news, the Channel 4 News at 4:30. Live from NBC4, the station working for you, Chuck Henry, Michelle Ruiz, Fritz Coleman AccuWeather, and Fred Rogan Sports. This is the Emmy-winning Channel 4 News at 4. From NBC4, the station working for you, Rick Chambers, Diane Diaz, Paul Johnson AccuWeather, Carlos Del Valle Sports. Southern California's #1 weekend news, the Channel 4 News at 5:30. Live from NBC4, the station working for you, Chuck Henry, Kelly Mack, Fritz Coleman AccuWeather, Fred Rogan Sports. Southern California's #1 news, the Channel 4 News at 6. Live from NBC4, the station working for you, Southern California's #1 news, the Channel 4 News at 4.
Good afternoon, and we have two top stories this afternoon to tell you about. First, an all-out assault on a huge fire at a commercial building.
Live from NBC4, the station working for you, Paul Moyer, Colleen Williams, Fritz Coleman AccuWeather, Fred Rogan Sports. Southern California's #1 news, the Channel 4 News at 11.
Kids arriving.
NBC4, the station working for you, Rick Chambers, Diane Diaz, Paul Johnson AccuWeather, Fred Rogan Sports. Southern California's #1 news, the Channel 4 News at 11.
You're looking live at Catalina Island, the closest thing real is.
Live from NBC4, the station working for you, Jim Giggins, Tracy Savage, and Angie Austin AccuWeather. This is Today in LA Weekend, Southern California's #1 morning news.
Coping with disaster, the people of Mexico are still...
Live from your home for the 2000 Olympic Games, Colleen Williams, Paul Moyer, Fritz Coleman AccuWeather, and Fred Rogan Sports. This is the Channel 4 News at 5:30. Coverage you can count on. Live from your home for the 2000 Olympic Games, Kelly Mack, Chuck Henry, Fritz Coleman AccuWeather, and Fred Rogan Sports. This is the Channel 4 News at 6. Coverage you can count on. Live, the Channel 4 News at 5. Paul Moyer, Colleen Williams, Fritz Coleman AccuWeather, and Fred Rogan Sports. Coverage you can count on.
It is live from NBC4. This is Today in LA.
Good morning. It is live, the Channel 4 News at 11. Paul Moyer, Colleen Williams, Fritz Coleman AccuWeather, and Fred Rogan Sports. Coverage you can count on.
Live from NBC4, Kelly Mack, David Cruz, and Christopher Nance AccuWeather. This is the Channel 4 News at 11 a.m.
Live from NBC4, this is the Channel 4 News at 5:30. You're watching the Channel 4 News at 11 with Paul Moyer, Colleen Williams, Fritz Coleman Weather, and Fred Rogan Sports.
Straight ahead.
Live from your home for the 2000 Olympic Games, Kelly Mack, Chuck Henry, Fritz Coleman AccuWeather, and Fred Rogan Sports. This is the Channel 4 News at 6. Coverage you can count on.
This teenage model came to Southern California hoping to make it big, but she was brutally raped and murdered. Well,
Live, the Channel 4 News at 5. Coverage you can count on.
After a season of both triumph and turmoil, the playoffs began and the Lakers start their title defense. All eyes are on them as they continue their quest for another championship. Hello, I'm Diane Diaz, and this is a special post-game NBA edition of the Channel 4 News.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for having us in. I'm Fernell Chapman.
Live from NBC4, this is the Channel 4 News at 5.
We have breaking news, a devastating crash ending a police pursuit, a car being chased by police, slamming into an SUV.
Live from NBC4, this is the Channel 4 News at 5:30.
Once again, a very good evening. I'm Chuck Henry in for Paul Moyer.
And I'm Colleen Williams. Here's a quick look at some of the stories making news today. Go away. The Channel 4 News at 6 begins right now.
Live from NBC4, this is the Channel 4 News at 6.
The race to recall Governor Davis, the election just 53 days away, but now a late development as a federal judge in Northern California is warning that he could postpone the election. Once again, a good evening. I'm Chuck Henry.
And I'm Michelle Ruiz.
Live from NBC4, this is the Channel 4 News at 4:30.
Opening doors and dialogue. The Muslim community reaches out to the Southland with an open invitation to their mosque. Good evening. I'm Kim Baldonado.
And I'm Fernell Chapman. Thanks for having us in.
Live from NBC4, this is the Channel 4 News at 5:30. You're watching the Channel 4 News at 11 with Paul Moyer, Colleen Williams, Fritz Coleman weather, and Fred Rogan sports. From NBC4, the Southland's #1 late news, the Channel 4 News at 11. This is the Channel 4 News Midday Report.
Fast-moving developments this morning in the death of Anna Nicole Smith, both here in L.A., where a judge ruled on the custody battle, and in Florida, where officials are...
This is the Channel 4 News at 11:30 a.m.
A tense standoff involving SWAT officers is now over.
Live from NBC4, this is the Channel 4 News at 6.
And here at 6 o'clock, we'll start out with a weather and a...
Live from NBC4, this is the Channel 4 News at 6. Live from NBC4, this is the Channel 4 News at 11.
Tonight, a homicide.
Live from NBC4, the Southland's #1 late news, the Channel 4 News at 11.
Southern California Emergency Room.
Live from NBC4, this is the Channel 4 News at 11.
He told me to take my clothes off and to go up to the 3rd floor.
Live, you're watching Today in L.A.
Good morning. It's May 30th, Memorial Day. Thanks for joining all of us. I'm John Caddy Sklemak in for Alicia Lane.
And I'm Kathy Barra. We're going to start with weather and traffic as always. And
This is the Channel 4 News Midday Report.
Today, the LA School District announced it is rehiring more than 500 teachers and counselors.
Live from NBC4, this is the Channel 4 News at 5.
God has done some incredible miracles. I've got some great friends, and more importantly, I've got some...
Begins right now.
Live, you're watching NBC4 LA News at 6.
A woman hauling human remains through a neighborhood in Ontario is in jail tonight, and police have a lot of questions about the victim.
Live, you're watching NBC4 LA News at 11. Live from NBC4, this is the Channel 4 News at 11.
And a good evening as we join you. This is video of breaking news. It's out of Japan. Just about an hour ago, a massive 8.9 earthquake hit Japan. This is video from a newsroom in northern Japan where...
Live from NBC4, this is the Channel 4 News at 11. An international manhunt is over tonight.
You're watching NBC4. Here's what's happening today in LA.
While you were sleeping, police say a young boy helped rob a Pizza Hut in Placentia. What a victim says the child and a man got away with. Good morning, everybody. I'm Whit Johnson.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Valles in for Daniela Guzman. More on that story in just a moment. But first, let's get a check of your forecast with meteorologist Shana Mendiola, who's here in Orange, because it's going to be a sunny and bright day.
Yeah, I just thought I'd dress the part, right? It's going to be a hot Wednesday. It is summertime. Good morning, everyone. It's your Wednesday. It's hump day, and it's going to be the hottest day of the week. So let's get over this. We can go ahead and see some relief from the heat as we head into your weekend. And if you have any weekend plans, it is looking nice. But today, as you head out the door, bring the water, bring the sunscreen and the sunglasses. You're going to need it.
NBC4's Today in LA continues at 6:30.
Well, you may want to throw on a windbreaker this morning before heading out the door because you could encounter this. Strong wind gusts continue to blow through parts of Southern California. Good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Valles.
And I'm Whit Johnson in for Michael Brownlee. I got to get my hands on one of those windbreakers. Let's get right.
NBC4 News at noon starts now.
Then a mom wins the battle over this billboard. Why, she says it had to come.
Developing news out of Huntington Park, where crews are going on their 6th hour fighting a stubborn fire. A business destroyed, a school day disrupted, and investigators now trying to figure out what caused it all.
Also, a hit and run, crashes. It's become a plaguing problem on our road, but there is new aggressive pushes to reverse the trend.
I'm Major Durambula live in Huntington Beach, where we have a brand new Halloween experience we want to share with you. It is scary, it is family friendly, and for the first time it's being held at this historic site. A live report coming up.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Carolyn Johnson.
And I'm Kathy Barr in for Michael Brownlee. The news at noon starts now.
You're watching the NBC4 News at Noon.
And we begin with that developing story in Huntington Park, where firefighters are...
New at 6 o'clock, Donald Trump in Los Angeles, what he just said about Mexican immigrants at a news conference there, and the angry reaction just outside.
Double devastation. Investigators are asking the owner of this business what happened right before his liquor store went up in flames.
And emergency measures, an update on an I-team investigation on surviving in the wake of an earthquake. The new rule in the works that you'll be happy to hear about. Good evening, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams in for Carolyn Johnson.
And I'm Chuck Henry. The news at 6 o'clock on this Friday begins right now.
This is NBC4 News at 6.
Presidential candidate Donald Trump making waves across Southern California. Protests right now.
NBC4 News at 6 starts now.
Here we are on this Friday at 6 o'clock. I'm Chuck Henry.
And I'm Lucy Nolan. Rush hour is about to get worse for 405 commuters.
The winds may be calm now, but they cause problems around the area today, driving brush fires and possibly contributing to a small plane crash. Good evening. I'm Whit Johnson.
Breaking news right now at 11 o'clock. Traffic backed up on Pacific Coast Highway. This at Sunset Boulevard after an LAPD motorcycle officer is run down by a hit-and-run driver. News Chopper 4 was over the scene.
Primetime Emmy Awards in downtown LA.
Today in LA at 4 starts now.
Some of that partying still going on this morning.
Probably, yeah. It's still early, 4 o'clock, or late for them, I guess, yeah. Good morning to you. It's Tuesday, September 18th. I'm Adrian Arambula.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Daniela Guzman. We'll get to those stories in a moment, though. Let's check your forecast with meteorologist Shana Mendiola. And it feels nice and cool out there.
Yeah.
Just a couple
people probably didn't know they had.
This is Today in LA at 6.
They didn't know they had it, but now they can't live without
exactly,
it, right?
That's right. Just like Apple does.
Exactly.
You know?
Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Daniela Guzman.
I'm Whit Johnson. It is Monday, September 12th. The Rams play their first game tonight.
Exciting.
Football season is underway. Let's get...
NBC4 News at 11 a.m. starts now.
Right now, a woman shot and killed during a custody exchange outside of a police station. Now her ex-husband is in.
Now at 4, a pursuit, a crash, and a shootout. What we've learned about the moments before deputies opened fire in Long Beach.
Plus, new details on that deadly shooting inside a Costco and the two very different stories emerging right now.
And a DWP alert. We reveal the red flags about fake employees and how to protect yourself.
NBC4 News at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Carolyn Johnson.
And I'm Lolita Lopez in for Michael Brownlee today. It was a shootout on the streets of Long Beach.
It's part of an ongoing problem.
Plus, coyote takeover. This pack of wild pups taking a permanent residence on an occupied property. A new look at where they're running loose.
This is NBC4 News at 5.
We began with that violent crash that claimed the life of an innocent victim and left 5 others hurt.
This is NBC4 News at 6.
Well, we have some ominous clouds right now over this.
NBC4 News at 6 starts with breaking news.
And look at that officer bumping the car. He's going to spin him out of control all the way across lanes under the bridge.
Breaking news at 6, a dramatic ending this Easter Sunday to a high-speed pursuit in Long Beach.
Now at 11 o'clock, rallying in the face of fear. Bernie Sanders took the stage here in Southern California just hours after someone made a threat toward the event.
NBC4's Rick Montanez was at the event in Long Beach tonight, where some people say they were afraid to show up. Rick.
Colleen and Chuck, yeah, safety is certainly a concern out here tonight. Police say the man who made the threats against this rally posted bail and is out of jail.
Now at 11, 2 raging wildfires. Families watching and waiting for word on whether to stay or go.
Now it's on this side, and you can see the flames coming down.
Fire burning through rough terrain and close to homes.
I could see some pretty good clouds of smoke coming out of the canyon.
And creating the worst air quality in 3 decades.
These conditions are not for children to be outside or even adults.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Chuck Henry. Well, the fires have darkened the skies with a layer of smoke that casts an orange yellow across almost anything.
And now at 11 o'clock, reopening rollback. 2 of the biggest states in the country are putting reopening plans now on pause. And could California be next? Good evening, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Chuck Henry. Well, tonight we are seeing a surge in COVID-19 cases here in Southern California, and even the White House was talking about it today.
I know she didn't do nothing like that. She didn't mean no harm.
A mother detained for questioning after 3 young children were found dead inside the family's home. We're live with the latest on this investigation.
Another about face saw masks and more confusion. Why COVID face coverings could be making a comeback right here in Southern California.
Hell of a game tonight. Hell of a game. We went and got him tonight. We got him, baby.
The short-headed Clippers outshine the Suns in a do-or-die Game 5, and now the series shifts back to Staples.
Today in LA at 4 starts now.
How about those Clippers?
Yeah,
How about
right
Fred
on.
Rogan getting Steve Ballmer after the game? What a good
Having
get.
a good time. What a great comeback on that series.
They're trending in the right direction for sure. I want to wish you a good morning. I'm Adrian Arambulo. It's Tuesday, June 29th.
And good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Valles, in today for Daniela Guzman. Young children found dead inside a home. Their mother taken into custody as police try to figure out what happened.
Today in LA at 4:30 starts now.
And good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Valles, in today for Daniela Guzman.
And I'm Adrian Arambulo, and we'll have much more on that story coming up. First of all, we want to not out of the woods just yet.
And Belen is issuing a frizz alert. Temperatures may be dropping, but that humidity is rising. We may even see some storms. That's coming up in your first alert forecast.
Today in LA at 5 starts now.
I put in my frizz product already, Adrian. I knew it.
Can you share it or what?
I got you. Good morning. It's Tuesday, June 29th. I'm Michelle Valles, in for Daniela Guzman.
Is being detained for questioning.
Today in LA at 5:30 starts now.
Good morning. I'm Adrian Arambulo.
Good morning. I'm Michelle Valles, in for Daniela Guzman. More on that story in just a moment, but let's get you started
where the storms will pop up in your first alert forecast.
This is Today in LA at 6.
And good morning. It's Tuesday, June 29th, Taco Tuesday. I'm Michelle Valles, in for Daniela Guzman.
And I'm Adrian Arambulo, and we're going to.
Today in LA at 6:30 starts now.
Well, right now at 6:30, a neighborhood is in shock after a heartbreaking discovery. 3 young children found dead inside the family's home. What we're learning about their mother, who is now behind bars. Thanks for joining us, and good morning. I'm Adrian Arambulo.
Good morning. I'm Michelle Valles, in today for Daniela Guzman. Let's get.
Good morning. Taking a live look from Malibu on this Tuesday morning. What a beautiful sight out there. It's 7:26 right now. I'm Adrian Arambulo, and we are hoping to get more information today about the 3 children found dead in a home in East LA.
NBC4 News at 11 a.m. starts now.
Right now, 3 children found dead, their own mother now under arrest. Thank you for being with us, everybody. I'm Michael Brownlee. Well, the heartbreak ripples well beyond this East LA neighborhood. 3 children, all under the age of 5.
Grandmother is saying about this tragedy.
NBC4 News at 4 starts now.
Thank you for being with us, everybody. I'm Michael Brownlee.
And I'm Carolyn Johnson. We want to get right to NBC4's John Caddis-Klimak. He has been in that neighborhood all day. And we're also tracking an excessive heat warning, paving the way for a different kind of fire danger in the coming days. The sky is about to light up ahead of the 4th of July, and we are not talking about fireworks here.
Would you be talking about maybe lightning?
Yes, that too.
Lightning would be a good guess. Well, with the monsoonal moisture conditions we have right now, also now at 6 triple-digit temperatures, high fire danger, and now a plot twist. Pop-up showers and thunderstorms now on the way.
But first tonight, we have breaking news. 3 children found dead inside a home in East L.A. That mother now in custody.
NBC4's Robert Kovacic is at the scene now, where he's been gathering information, and he spoke with the uncle of the children. Robert?
NBC4 News at 7 starts with breaking news.
Hi, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams, and that breaking news tonight. 3 children, all under the age of 3, found dead in the bedroom of a home in East L.A.
This is NBC4 News at 11.
The danger of homemade fireworks seen and heard for miles, with an explosion that shattered windows, flipped cars, and injured several people in South Los Angeles. Tonight, new clues on what may have gone terribly wrong. Good evening. I'm Chuck Henry.
And I'm Colleen Williams. Police, the ATF, and the bomb squad first seized those illegal fireworks yesterday, only to have the evidence blow up in front of them.
KNBC-TV, Channel 4, Los Angeles.